Abusua Michia na misanso emo akwaba emre channel so. Eya de na Ama Agyarko of eye Onua TV aba bonten e de nsem bi e de aba betudwa efa ye His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ho a. Ocheni nsem a institution pa say 2028 ye hu eye His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Ye hu ne picture ewo eye ballot paper so. Sanso na ye hu ne din ewo eye ballot paper so. Na eyade asa officer His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ekon ama eye Ghana kwa nemu sa entesa nemu okon ede ama eye ewiase nyina na ohwe nia ekoso ewo eye UN general meeting ase His Excellency nensemo a ode atudwa chese ama ewiase nyina ebo eje no so na chese papai ne botai a ode ebaaye na chese obekon ede ama eye ewiase nyina na de ensem no saso ade tudwa efa His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ho abusa we de ma mekasa wa me ma mekasa enye tenten pese e kone kuti na Ama Agyarko na nsam a ode atudwa na se wi na so wadun che bia abomode na ya kire ya hada so e be media GH omode aso be subscribe e de amai bobo notification bell so for more podcast updates yenti na Ama Agyarko na nsam ode atudwa efa His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ho ene ne ode atudwa efa eye the former president Addo Bawumia na sibina so wadu chebia abomode na ya kire ya hada so e be media GH yedomase
postu yes President Mahama enti Ghana for ba beda awe ko what say so ho ye pa Ghana for ba beda asori ni yakọ election 7 December 2028 na President Mahama so won kobiem ni yakọ akoto aba MPP presidential candidate NDC presidential candidate President Mahama so won kobiem. They say my biggest fear Emma Ghana no say the next president or me mess up because bad experience need Emma Ghana for witness 8 years no enya dia wo say yesa akọ yetibiem enya dia wo say yeni hu bibiem enu kwase yeni hu bibiem in less than a year 9 months when President Mahama NDC aban away and near President Mahama Fras here after swearing in 7 January 8 January we free Jumase Simon and energy sector independent power producers air threaten West Africa gas pipeline and so do mu die bebo mo shatter machine down because there was some year maintenance no near dia day ade ti ya onu akasa ne personal private office na meetings ikoso or the chief of staff Honorable Julius Debra meetings ikoso na we ikoso ya chese Ghana ni bia dia any reasonable Ghanaian e dia dance say enka President Mahama de enka 4 years ko se 8 years ko se 12 years 3 times and what they build Ghana but ono onye greedy onye power drunk because opportunity of President Mahama enya e won second term o control parliament MPs pa minority for honorable Afenyo Markets ni team pa wo mu nko omo pa wo mu na we don't care because say parliament na wo no mu eye ma omu fi mu entosini eto omo pa omo sorry a omo na omo pa wo mu nko omo submissions e mata e wo Ghana ha because omu nya 8 years omo mess up omo scam Ghana for etisaka President Mahama ye African leader bia na dwene di say Alassane Ouattara Cote d'Ivoire president one over after election post election violence see e man predecessor ko dem the Hague ye jeli na wo dem na anu ye na ye no ne yine ne menyi na dem wa ko first time akọ second time we nyini 20 years asesa constitution ya sansu kobiem wa ko ekọ ya wo sansu ekobiem ready akọso ye neighboring countries Togo ha say one no Togo no any monarchy to say UK to ono ye king no appointed prime minister opportunity of President Mahama enya ne second term we say mu no say we say we obi a chese oye power drunk say dictatorship rule no we dey hu be shemu a enka President Mahama enka ye cool chop the man because enka Ghana for enka ye nyina be catch President Mahama say papa enha ho sa ko biem ye benya civil society organizations ye benya oshuboku akese and for Ghana, it doesn't matter what be someone wants also your one. President Mahama Kaso Bekwa and Kawabenya support the free Ghana because Martina say Yaka say before President Mahama Bebano, there would be a disaster for Perry or Bede. Then I want brilliant or so about Paddy, the pan of President Mahama, dear pan or Baba Beye. Because a minor say, I'm a catch the gun and say, Tibia or mighty woman, economy said, yes, it can some boon come off for you be a sen, and better clear no less than 3 decades, 30 years, and send it to me recover from some crisis. Our married woman. Send your catcher, economic indicators. Oh, economist for Ghana had a real say. They bad the laughing stock. I can't remember Rwanda, Msa Kigami, now or year event program be. Yeah, we invite international friends and speakers by ya. Or be a man speech, no refer to Ghana or my Ghana. Just say, the 3 year haircut to say, what we a bondholder, would we see Kako about buying a bosia? After Canabani so need one cheer, after a bani so bet ya, 100,000 and Dahanoma, yeah, my haircut, you bet you 50,000, 50,000 shit. Don't go ha. Sorry, I sing behind me, yard my bay. Now come a comedian for S3 Ghana for. Nigeria ha near ßiG Ghana for. Et the no be can say President Mahama ba wa bade no ba beye. E dey ya no ba beje. E be kwakwa kosi die enkonko siaga. Because a minor say rating agencies ni na rate ye. Edu baby a edu pempenso ane nye de na enye. But in less than a year President Mahama timia transforming Ghana. Am pempenso Ghana eduo no. Ebu ni padwene ne ntiase so. Oh my Ghana, your currency, your Sibia, now what they buy from Sri Lanka, and then they compete. And at the time, Sri Lanka and Ghana, your currency, what we see can Ghana currency compete. No, now Sri Lanka prime minister. What must Soviet and Etuno, Sri Lanka prime minister near Tuno. Now neighboring country school LCC so Jay-Z you almost sorry yeah Kenya yeah Mutigu Monteswa and you Peru yeah a share prime minister president Emma what we reforms changes from the Adiano. And Pempeswana Kenya drew the Oman economy na drew what would you go Montesu be Peru yeno na yaya diana ye nemuno na enu Kenya diana ho kwata na enu Kenya diana ho kwata o ba we dey see ye wo Kenya we dey see ye wo Togo we dey see ye wo Mali we dey see ye wo other African countries but it be no man Ghana wo mo no na kire say ye dia no eso ese wo mo dia the bet 20-30 ye dia no bet 30% and I know mo namba he ku ana sisi we dia na sisi but President Mahama atre say empenindie no say ye bu baby say ye de show ase ye de asoa wo say de be no wa atre say bibia wo ye bia ese wo say wo settle priorities say me priority nie did I get it correct? So I was so one cause I was setting the biduma who said I didn't when here and sign the fatter. Every now twice or call you an assembly. Who will never walk on your home? And yes, I will fight it at the amount of my Ghana and Kwase, may Africa head of state, may a Ghana president, El Ghana and Kwana was here reforms, here reset. United Nations is here reset. United Nations President Mahama said and you so here reset. Now what can you do Gaza? Or Gaza? I didn't care about Gaza, but now what can you do Gaza and Papua so? Near air cost or one countries be as just a share one interest, what destroy woman. Now woman a natural resource be a woman, what in here for Cotic Council, no often boom what they are called, and you be Roman Libya. After now America President Barack Obama issue. Say a koye e wo Libya no ehunu fa so e ba so e de man no na then United Nations Secretary General the late Kofi Annan Eka say what was the essence the need Libya because Gaddafi or a dictatorship and then rule no and we say no but then Libya Ghana ni free as o Libya and say wo kwa abuchire na nkwara so yi ko school ba epon e mo ma me ko fa wo mo ba papa no ko fa mo ba. But America, sorry, ye etia Libya, almost destroy Libya, and Libya, Iraq, Saddam Hussein, ye are so, ye quite no, ye destroy no, and then Iraq, BM. About Kromu, Abawa, and interest. And you people know more men from Mobile said, there be, I did your baby, Saddam Hussein, where do you swat it, and will rule you say, and was an interest, an interest. Your countries here, above food, do almost one interest. so anya kwan na so penetrate na so wremu wi a afenu o manager pade no we de wo fom o man natural resources no na wo fom na wo de koni mem na wo de siesie ni mem na wo de siesie ni mem American ti asese ene your friend say Ibrahim Traore one your friend say Russia president and Shibomu Vladimir Putin France for edi omo ye ayi Burkina Faso colonial masters edi won so deal so those francophone countries say what Africa say na France for edi won so no ade a France aban eya ne say also say omo resources e dey akwa develop France Penin rasa omo tu Burkina Faso ba Burkina Faso kuro no chese ye ka wo hia buburo man ye ka ho bi she other francophone countries here what Africa has say yeah France for really wo ma di wo mo so mo yom colonial masters e di wo mo so a e de papa be na wo mo mani bi bianim but France no a ono no o man na developing one na bibia wo man mu no o munya o mo edwapade e di free African continent hanu wo mu tu e wo mo de ko enti ku asi ye hia mo nko no na France aban ameki sure say Minas na ye tuo na wo pam minas na ye tuo na ye di siesie ma na wo pam ye no ene ye equipment ye machines bibia ye be destroy no me ya destroy bibia etu be ko Burkina Faso ye 2 minerals no pempem e bi ko amanone France for di siesie wo mo aman na cha se oman no so die emu nyina ye mfutukwan emu nyina say President Mahama say UN no ye te ye no ache the policies and programs and the laws and was say reforms room ya amend bibi because Africa continent ye wo ma ye ma ye free me to simi ye wo ma ye ma ye free mo to simi way back 1945 yes as President Mahama ka ye te United Nations Africa was say Africa countries ya na wo Egypt Ethiopia Liberia and South Africa ye nkoye ni mu da de bia Africa ye dia so te semwa ene me di wa ifem boss me dem man President Mahama ene mfem na fe mintinsi ene me de fem me se me tina se me bisa senti President Mahama pa e ba be endi ne term 2028 na ya da so 7 January 2029 na President Mahama ni honu mu biem hey na President Mahama pa ni honu mu biem ade a wo ye kosenka wo tuo so any opportunity ni tuo so a build your mind no e build your mind drum pempenso bi na nka minimu so President Mahama enya kwanya 4 years asa tuo so a enka UN nyema bebre reforms bebre be koso say Gaza just and one say Palestinian Gaza Israel Iraq just ye ku nipa e destroy nipa sa ye wo countries ya omo hyase na America for hyase na Germany for hyase na France for hyase na here for hyase wo interest o e yo interest yo mu benya e dey fi wo man nim because wo man ni tini up o man na ye ba ko na se entichemu mai entokwansi ya utimi enwram enkwankofo madwa pade but se wo wram na so de entokwa bam na safe dem o man na ye deja o man na heja afi no wo lutum niema so ho na wo mu wiemu niema na wo mo fa mu niema na o mo fa mu niema mo mo de chekire wo mo man enu na ya na ye hu ye no hwe na nsem ho Burkina Faso o mo try ya say Ibrahim Traore o mo betu no African countries ya neighboring countries ya na no mo use wo mo president for e na no mo use wo mo because African continent no Africa is of states no ebinom who say Ibrahim Traore niema wo je no ama Gen Z no and next generation no omani bi omani tie say democracy say to abade amount say be rule on mind na say wo ba na say with all the natural resources to wo hia say wo ntimi nya dia ene so jani mra ma meji no mebu wo man no etu wo transe a wo hu yese da bi ade a ba mu na frase na wo ye no say ya mo abrofo na me ya ntunu a ene ene wotu anu ma ne e ku wotu anu ma ne ku enti no France president no France aban any US aban any other countries no Africa say your heads of states for ni bi ene na chese wo mu use wo mu say kwan be fa so betu Ibrahim Traore kwan be fa so betu no esa sabe mu awe yi a onya 40 years 35 years class onya ye etimi within this short time ye niema we say woni mamu a ye niema woni mamu a na say wo ya papa panimu say yakoto abade ma 7 December ana say ya to aba de ama na se bra be di president ya se pe democracy ka bi ma min ka bi wa be di president na se wudi mu asem a ene soja ni ma meje o man no aba mu 20 years 30 years a ona meje o man no rule me ba chon man president Mahama video na me ntoaso na me nkomini so ose ade enye no enye ade a asai no na asai ade a enye no enye yenka sentia yankuntia enye se e betena hanu a na ye hyemra ene ye sanhye wo mo na wo sanhye wo mo na wo sanhye no wa sanhye kwa kosi den ene meli ene Burkina Faso ene hwan ene ye sanhye wo mo me kala na Akufo Addo ewi ye so na na eche na sa me ku sisi ye no na EU leaders aba be hyemu Accra ha se mbe ye meeting na wo mo ka ta wo se mi wa data no me na Akufo Addo no ono no e kwale se ku ni ade no ye ono ye na ni memu ha se no ene ma full corruption intimidation injustice and ye matantanya na ekoso na Ghana for no ya adwen no enye Burkina for adwen because ye kuta sa adwen bia enka 8 years enye ma Ghana for betina se ye no enka president Mahama kontwa 8 years da me ba twa ma me video ne ne enko yentie president Mahama na fe yentie simi ne enko ye ni.
I've been playing hide and seek with language to find the right words to help us avoid or excuse what we all know is taking place in Gaza. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter what you call it. If it looks like a duck, it swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, well, then it must be a duck. The crimes in Gaza must stop. The crimes in Gaza must stop. Madam President, I also want to draw particular attention to the conflict in Sudan, which this body has described as the world's largest humanitarian crisis. 12 million people have had to flee their homes. And when we speak of migration, we refer to the 12 million new Sudanese refugees, whom we as a global community should be willing to assist in much the same way that many member nations readily assisted new refugees coming out of Ukraine. Let's dispense with the euphemisms and dog whistles and speak frankly. It is not a mystery that when leaders of Western nations complain of their migration problems, they are often referring to immigrants from the global south. But many of those immigrants are climate refugees. And interestingly, the global north emits 75% more greenhouse gases than the global south. However, the effects of climate change are more severe in the global south because we lack the resources to address them effectively. And so when the desert encroaches on our villages and towns and they become unlivable, we are forced to flee. Wasan Shiri, a Somali-born prophet, a Somali-British poet born in Kenya to Somalian refugee parents, was London's first youth poet laureate. She writes in a poem titled Home. And it says, you have to understand that no one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land. No one bends their palms under trains beneath carriages. No one spends days and nights in the stomach of a truck feeding on newspaper unless the miles traveled mean something more than just a journey. Madam President, we cannot normalize cruelty. We cannot normalize hatred. We cannot normalize xenophobia and racism. If we're going to tell a story, let's not tell it slant. Let's tell all the truth. When we speak of migrants, we speak of Mami Ewusi Mensah Frimpong, a judge on the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California. She's the first black female judge on any of California's 4.
Mubu enipa bibini se yede yenka ho bi. Enso yenya UN Secretary General Kofi Annan ya ofiri Ghana ha. Ene wo bobobo. Africa ha kwa Ghana ha nko akora. Ghana ha. Wo mo yenya wo mo a immigrant fo a omo ko settle ye ewo other foreign countries ya omo etimi akọ wo manim. Buroni ye tactical. Wo ye strategic ankasa. O transia no a plan obenye ana ha Ghana ha se ya eti ya ni abiri ye ho a ye wa ayi politicians bi mu ye greedy bastards wa hai obetimi enya bi onwini se ansa na broni no ede na ni asisu na wode urban oba be fa bibi abrofo begu Ghana ha Gadgesburg se Charles McCarthy no yade ade enye oman no mbelu tu mo depade na no mo de ko ai omo begu Portuguese fo e na hehefo ye ko school hia ye oman no omo ba na omo ba ye no ya no omo ba ye ni se no makoda Dr. Kwame Nkrumah bed so e say me ba me kasa eji say me ma history na me chire na me ka me kwa me nasi koda ne bed so me koye ne bed so to me koda de ntuma kwa akuri me omo begu Ghana ha no mo Ghana ha no e de na no omo je amani natural resources gold na ta sika boano e na sika boano e no mu tuko e no fa Ghana for slaves en kwa ne moa e no mo do mo ye adwuma omo se bia so omo do mo kwa omo du puni fifi no mo ahia wo ma gya omo no omo do mo gum anya doctor osadu Dr. Kwame Nkrumah kiada so ewom komo da so di so te se moa de obenya ntimi interest fourth state and the revelation biaba omo the report biaba na me hwe se MPP for eye na wo mani abere won se January 2026 omo koyi wo mo flag bearer eye na me bisa sa mo flag bearer no na mo ni abere mo mo ko de mo koyi na mo de na ye dey mo flag bearer na mo ni abere mo mo si ye nyamo na mo koyi Dr. Bawumia Tema utumi ena 1996 ena president Kufuor yi no ena 98 yasanso ko yi president Kufuor na ka 11% ba Dr. Bawumia de aka 11% enti o se de ma Dr. Bawumia abronya nso ginafa ena o se Dr. Bawumia ba ye favor Dr. Bawumia enu enti ena January sansa na nam kaka no Dr. Bawumia na mani abri mo ho na mo se mo kwa akoyi no mo koyi ni na mo de na bepe mu nia na asem mo se edi na mo de na ba ba ye NDC co-opposition 8 years on they were consistent. NDC betimi akira wo say stabilization fund ejawewum second fund ejawewum one fund ejawewum but NPP co-opposition 9 months in ho scandals corruption eye no kwa nkontabuo nkwa na eba na we no adan me da so Mr. Fourth Estate ade ya mudi be Samia Wuku ano director general National Lottery Authority ade ya modi be ya mani abrim pin enkonkosi aga enti na nu ya report